place where you can go, where there's no one to tell you yes or no. If you just look into your heart, you will find that's the place to start. If you take a step and take another again, you'll find a better place to land. I know that it can be there someday. You've been waiting for. I know this life can be that one life you've been dreaming of. Today could be the someday. Today could be the one day. Today could be the someday you've been dreaming of. Today could be the someday. Today could be the one day. Today could be the someday you've been dreaming of. Oh, 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 today could be the day. Today could be the day.
Slow or smelly drains can become a plumbing emergency fast. Get Pipe Wrench's $99 drain clearing guaranteed to work or it's free. Our plumbers arrive the same day to get things flowing again. Schedule your $99 drain clearing today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same day service guaranteed or the visit is
It's time for Wake Up with Witcher. Here's meteorologist Mike Witcher from the East Tennessee Weather Center.
Well, good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Sure hope you have a great day. Got a lot of folks joining us this morning. Thanks for tuning in for the latest forecast weather updates. I'm just going to be the first to tell you I've been forecasting weather for 25 years, and this is probably one of the hardest forecasts I've ever had to do. And we've had some doozies over the years, right? Together, we've had some doozies. Rain, snow, sleet, freezing rain, ice storms, and heavy snow when some get the snow and some don't get snow. I mean, we saw that 2 years ago. This is the most challenging, and I have just been diving into the details like nobody's business here. And so hopefully we can give you the latest updates to help you prepare and plan. I will tell you that there are some changes to the forecast, as we've been mentioning. I've been mentioning over the last couple of days, talking about that warm nose coming on through. How does that change the forecast? Does it turn into a big-time snow event? Listen, let me just tell you, I never posted this because I had never even posted snowfall totals, and I'm still not going to give you snowfall totals because I just don't think that there's going to be a lot of measurable snow for most of us. So while some of us are going to get snow, and I think a lot of us will get some snow with the initial onset of the storm system Saturday morning, I don't think that's the major player. I think the major player becomes more of an ice storm and then maybe just plain rain. So there are some changes thanks to that warm nose, the warmer air swinging its way on through. This is an ever-changing dynamic storm system. It is massive. It's encompassing all the way from from New Mexico to New England and the Mid-Atlantic. We've got winter storm watches. So a lot of folks on here. Let's get to work. Let's start you off with a nice view, by the way. First things first, we'll settle in. This is live view in downtown Clinton, Anderson County. We had a little wave cold front swing its way through during the overnight hours. Today's really going to be a beautiful day. Today and tomorrow, great days to get outside and enjoy some weather before it kind of turns for the worse as we get into the upcoming weekend. All right, let's talk about those weather headlines here. And by the way, if you like and share this, that would be really helpful for community awareness. But here's the deal. Today, we're talking morning clouds give way to afternoon sunshine. We've already got some sunshine out there. That's great. Friday is going to be fantastic with increasing clouds late in the day as our storm system starts to approach. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler than today. We'll be in the 50s today, 40s tomorrow. But Saturday, so here are your winter storm headlines. Saturday, morning snow changes over to a brief bout of sleet, and then the potential for just freezing rain. Saturday night, freezing rain possible with icy roads Sunday morning because we're talking morning temperatures on the chilly side on Sunday. And then Sunday, we may start off icy and we'll probably see increasing rain through the day on Sunday. Above and beyond anything, I will tell you that we are in a drought. We have a severe drought that's ongoing around town. And so this kind of moisture, because the atmosphere is water loaded, we knew that. It's just a matter of trying to figure out what kind of precipitation we're going to get, who's going to get what, how much you're going to get, when's it going to happen. And that's the dynamics with a winter storm, especially here in East Tennessee, but anywhere across the country. winter weather forecasting is definitely the hardest weather forecasting you can possibly do. When we're talking severe thunderstorms, okay, we've got a cold front coming through. We're expecting rain showers, thunderstorms from this time to this time. Some of those could become strong. Great. Here we go. That's pretty easy, right? But the hard part about winter weather forecasting is you got to look at all layers of the atmosphere and temperatures. That includes the surface, above the surface, way up in the atmosphere, and then the track and strength of the low. Some of the latest model guidance actually has the ridge of high pressure to our north a little bit weaker than what it was a couple of days ago. And if you have a weaker ridge of high pressure, that means temperatures aren't nearly as cold. That means it's not as strong, so things are loud. Because when you have high pressure, it's like a blocking mechanism. But if it's weaker, it allows things to push a little bit further to the north as you get warm air and low pressure coming in from the south. This is our classic system to get a lot of snow, but it's all based on the temperature profile of the atmosphere, which of course we all know. Nobody knows. It's the forecast. It's the future. All right, this morning we're starting off much warmer across the foothills and mountain counties, from Dandridge to Pigeon Forge, Tellico Plains to Benton. We're 20, 25 degrees warmer. When you look at our numbers this morning, we're in the 30s and 40s. So it's a nice mild start thanks to the clouds that we've had during the overnight hours. These morning clouds will continue to break up, fade away. There is a little system to our south. So if you live in Chattanooga, say Benton, Cleveland area, you may get clipped by a little bit of light rain here as we progress through the morning hours, but temperatures are above freezing, so no frozen precipitation there. And then through the day and into the evening hours, we'll have clear skies and a nice afternoon. Temperature-wise, it's going to be great. We're going to be in the 40s and 50s. Average high for this time of year is 48 degrees. So we are going to be trending above average for this time of the year. All right, let's talk about those winter storm impacts. That's why you're tuning in. I know that. I've changed the timing of this. It was, again, Friday through Sunday, or at least Friday night through Sunday. Now I'm going Saturday through Sunday morning due to the fact that through the day on Sunday, I think we're going to have some rain work its way into the system. Ugh, bummer, huh? Especially for you snow lovers. Now, for all the snow naysayers out there, the ones that don't want the snow because they have to work, they have to travel, they have things to do. Not everybody loves snow, and I totally get that. Sunday is going to be more of a rain event, I think. So snow, I'm going to put in the medium category, and mainly along the Tennessee-Kentucky border northward. And we'll have to see what the latest model guidance does. It keep pushing north? I don't anticipate this flipping back to a colder pattern, but there can be some changes here over the next couple of days. So medium category, Tennessee-Kentucky border north. So if you have travel plans on Saturday north on 75, keep in mind that you are going to be dealing with all snow. Here in East Tennessee, Tennessee-Kentucky border south, we're talking sleet, but I think it's going to be brief, and that's going to be the initial changeover. So as warmer air starts to come on in aloft, you'll get that brief changeover to sleet, those little tiny ice pellets. And then if that layer thickens up and deepens, the warmer air on top of the colder air, that's where the freezing rain comes in. Saturday mornings, we're talking morning low temperatures in the 20s. And Saturday afternoon, that's where we are a little bit like, what is our temperature going to be, above freezing? Is it going to be below freezing? I'll explain. Freezing rain is in the high category. Either way you look at it, I think everybody has a great chance, a great threat for freezing rain. But I think the Cumberland Plateau and the Northern Plateau probably has the greatest threat. So something to keep in mind for Cumberland County, Fentress County, Scott, Morgan County, even Campbell County. Not only are you looking at the greatest potential for snowfall out of this whole system, but also the greatest potential for freezing rain. So travel, I'm still going to keep the travel impacts on high. But again, Saturday into Sunday morning, the travel impacts will diminish throughout the day on Sunday. Freezing rain, sleet, and icy roads are the main impacts with snow to our north. All right, this is just one model guidance. I chose this model. I have several models to show you. I chose this model because this is more in line with what I'm thinking. And again, so Saturday morning, we're likely to be cloudy, cold. You'll be able to feel it in the air Saturday morning. But don't wake up Saturday morning thinking that you're going to be able to see a winter wonderland and go out and do some sledding. So let's take you from Saturday 7 a.m. to noon, and you'll see how this moisture starts to surge its way on into the area. And it's going to be in the form of snow because it's going to be cold enough through the column of the atmosphere to support snow. So from sunrise through noon, we'll see snow developing around the area. Again, I think if you're south of Interstate 40, less snow chances. North of Interstate 40, more or greater snow chances through the first part of our Saturday. Now here, you can see the pinks down to on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Now you start to see that warm nose. The warmer air start to work its way on in. And so as that encounters the colder air mass, I think we switch over to a freezing rain event, especially Interstate 40 South. Interstate 40 North is going to be a question. Does it stay snow? Or do we switch over to more of a sleet freezing rain event north of Interstate 40 throughout the day on Saturday? All right, let's keep going. So we'll go Saturday night into Sunday morning, and here comes that big warm nose. So it's likely to be more of a freezing rain event Saturday night into Sunday morning. That's why I think we're going to have the greatest impacts this weekend will probably be felt Sunday morning. And we talked about this over the last couple of days. If you don't have to go to church, don't go to church. But I don't necessarily know that a lot of us are going to want to be on the roads. And we're going to be, cautioned not to be on the roads by, of course, law enforcement and whatnot. So Sunday morning, it's going to be a mixed bag, depending, again, on those air temperatures and surface temperatures and the air aloft, really. But through the day, all models are indicating that as everything pushes northward, here comes a low-pressure system that's actually going to be just to our west, moving its way over Nashville. That puts us on the eastern side of a low-pressure system where you get counterclockwise rotation. That pulls in warmer air from the south, and that's why I think that we're going to have that switch over from a freezing rain-ish event early Sunday morning to just a plain heavy rain event Sunday afternoon. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Let's talk about snowfall. Again, I really don't have any snowfall forecast for you because while we could see 2 to 4 inches of snow across the northern plateau with the initial onset through the day on Saturday, as all this moisture lifts its way northward, you potentially could end up with 2 to 4 inches by the end of the day on Saturday, but then the rain comes in on Sunday and it washes it all away. But either way, we're still talking snow-packed, icy roads across much of East Tennessee throughout the day on Saturday night into Sunday. But notice Saturday night into Sunday, we don't add to that snowfall potential really across the Northern Valley. So Saturday is the day for snowfall potential mainly north of Interstate 40. Now, I think we'll see some snow showers in and around Knoxville, Rockwood, Lenore City, Dandridge, whatnot, but I think that's going to be the initial onset of precipitation Saturday morning. All right, so 2 to 4 inches possible across the northern plateau, Tennessee-Kentucky border. That's what we're going with, okay? Now let's go with freezing rain. Saturday morning, we're dry, and then as we progress through the day on Saturday, you're going to notice that freezing rain starts to really increase. Let's see if I can get my clicker working here. So here comes the freezing rains. Freezing rain probably really won't be a major player until Saturday afternoon, okay? I mean, I think that's really going to be the potential. And then as we get into Sunday. So I think Saturday into Sunday morning is our freezing rain potential. And we could see upwards of 1/4 of an inch of rain across the Cumberland Plateau. Realize that 1/4 of an inch of ice accretion on power lines and trees is going to cause some problems. So power outages are going to be possible with this entire storm system as it moves its way on through. Sleet potential, I just don't think that the sleet potential is going to be quite there because I think it's going to be the initial transition from snow to sleet and then quickly over to freezing rain based on the profile of the atmosphere. Because all of this is happening, remember, we are under a winter storm watch from Friday night through Sunday night. Now, this may be changed based on the rain that's expected on Sunday, so I'll keep you posted on that. And you got to realize, too, that this is not just a storm system for us. Like I mentioned, this stretches all the way from New Mexico up into New York, the Mid-Atlantic. Look at much of Texas, Louisiana. And so Interstate 40, I-10, I-20, Interstate 70 through Kansas City and St. Louis is going to be impacted by this as well. We're also talking 75, 65, 24, 26 over into North Carolina. So there's a lot going on. Let me show you a bigger picture of how this kind of evolves over time Friday evening. So if you have travel plans, whether it's flights, whether you're traveling via car, truck, automobile, whatever it may be, Friday is going to be fine, but conditions will deteriorate from southwest to northeast through the day on Friday night, and then, of course, through the weekend. You can see Kansas City, Springfield, St. Louis, Paducah, Lexington, Nashville. Nashville is going to be on the cusp as well. If you have travel plans there, here comes the warmer air, and watch all the pink showing up on the map. But notice the heavy rain associated with this system. As I mentioned, this is going to be a huge rain maker, or let me just say precipitation maker. We are underneath a drought, and we're likely to see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of precipitation. So do we end up seeing maybe some flood issues on Sunday based on the model guidance and some of the heavier rainfall that's expected? And here in East Tennessee, see how we're going to be on the the eastern side of this low pressure system. That's pulling in, that's the warm sector of the low. Then the low tracks its way northward. And depending on the track of that low, really depends how it all plays out Sunday night into Monday morning? Do we get some wraparound? And then with Arctic air settling on in, is Monday morning going to be a major issue? And so I think the 2 mornings to watch out for would be Sunday morning, Monday morning, maybe lingering into Tuesday morning, but probably not, because temperatures next week are going to be brutally cold. So anything lingering Monday will be with us again on Tuesday. This paints a pretty good picture. This is rainfall forecast all the way through Sunday night. This is just rain. And here in East Tennessee, we potentially could get 1 to 2 inches of just rain. And then you add the other precipitation, and you look at all the precipitation that could be precipitated out of the atmosphere, and you can see how much moisture is heading our way. And so this is a big wet system. Snowfall potential, heaviest snows probably northern Arkansas, western Kentucky, central northern Kentucky, up into Virginia, West Virginia, maybe back into northwest Tennessee. Nashville to Memphis is going to be on the cusp there. The freezing rain potential is there. So I think there's going to be a major freezing rain event for somebody across the region. And I think there's going to be major power outages. You're going to hear about it on the national news. This is going to be a big freezing rain event for sure, with the snow to the north of it. And then sleet, yeah, I think we're going to see some sleet, but I think, again, freezing rain and snow is the greatest potential. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. We'll go 53 degrees today, 43 tomorrow, down to 32 on Saturday. But notice Saturday morning's low. And again, that's the caveat, right? Air temperature is everything with winter weather forecasts, not just at the surface, but again, above the surface. So Saturday morning will start off at 24, and the atmosphere is going to be dry, but trying to saturate up. And so when you actually get evaporation to happen with a storm system, as the moisture starts to fall, you actually cool that column of air down. Evaporation is a cooling process. That's why our bodies sweat. It evaporates and it helps keep our bodies regulated, our cooler. So 32 is what I'm going with on Saturday. If we hit 34 for some crazy reason, we end up with less of a freezing rain event, and we end up with a little bit more rain on Saturday. If we don't quite get to 32, we end up with a bigger problem with freezing rain through the day on Saturday. So snow, the sleet, the freezing rain, maybe some rain showers mixed in some locations around East Tennessee on Saturday, a huge mixed bag of precipitation. Saturday night into Sunday, look at Sunday morning's low. We're down to 29 degrees. Now Sunday, forecast highs are expected to be at around 37 degrees. And so if that takes shape, that's going to be just a plain cold winter rain, and a lot of it. So I don't expect as many hazards on Sunday, at least through the afternoon. But then again, depending on how much moisture falls, where it falls, how much we get, and standing on, laying on the ground Monday morning. Look at Monday morning's low temperature. We're down to 14, 6 degrees for a morning low on Tuesday. And then we're back up to 19 degrees on Wednesday morning, with more afternoon highs going from 28 Monday to 33 Tuesday, back to 40 degrees on Wednesday. Boy, I tell you what, I'm telling you, trying to navigate this storm system is a doozy for sure. So hopefully I've been helping you out a little bit to navigate to what to expect for this weekend. Hopefully you understand that there are changes that are going to happen with this kind of a system. I do appreciate you all for reaching out on social media, for following along, because these storms are very, very, very difficult to predict. I don't know if you heard the news, but Jim Cantore about 3 days ago was expected to be in Knoxville because of the snow, because the models were painting a 30-inch snowfall total about 3 days ago for East Tennessee. Now, I've been here a long time. I've been forecasting here for 20 years or so. I've been doing weather for 25, almost 26, actually. And so, when Jim Cantore says that he's going to be in a location, or you hear that he's going to show up somewhere, it's going to be a bad storm. But then the model shifted. So we'll be curious to see where Mr. Cantore shows up from the Weather Channel, of course. It's always interesting. Anyways, thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate you. Let's see. Yeah, that was a typo, Laura. My app actually yesterday said minus 11 degrees on Tuesday. That was a typo. I apologize for that. That was supposed to say 11. I don't know how the minus got in there, and I did not quite catch it. Jessica, Mike, when do you think you will know for Saturday if we will be at or below freezing? I think, Jessica, this is literally going to become a nowcasting event. We're going to get all the data. And just realize, too, I still don't even have all my high-resolution model data. And so as that continues to come on in, but I do have a lot of data coming in to show the profile of the atmosphere. So if you're a meteorologist or weather, I look at a profile of the atmosphere. It's called a skew T log P. Yeah, say that 10 times fast. And it gives you a great depiction looking at the atmosphere sideways, right? Not from top to bottom, not from bottom to top, but just a whole profile of the atmosphere. And so that gives us the greatest idea of that warmer air aloft. And that's why I said I think it's going to be more of a freezing rain event, because we potentially have a deeper layer and a warmer layer at about 5,000 to 7,000 feet in elevation. And then you come down to the surface, and most models are indicating that we will stay at or below freezing. And depending on how that plays out, really depends on the freezing rain event that could ensue. I mean, Saturday could be a major disaster due to the amount of moisture that we have in the atmosphere if temperatures never climb above freezing, because we start off at 24. And if we stay at 31, 30, 29 degrees, that could be a major change, and nobody should be on the road at that point of the game. And you got to realize, too, snow's a lot easier to travel on. I'd much rather have snow than ice any day of the week. You can't drive on ice. Snow, at least you have a little bit of traction. Is he in Nashville? I don't know. I don't watch the Weather Channel. I just knew that earlier he was talking. I had caught wind that he was going to be in East Tennessee when those snowfall totals were being painted of about 30 inches. But as I was saying, I've been here too long. I've been forecasting here too long. I know how these storms change. And that's why a lot of you were like, hey, where's your snowfall totals forecast? I need to see about these snowfalls. And I can't quite do that yet because I don't want to go 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 8 to 10 inches and then have to backpedal and come all the way back down and say, never mind, guys, we're not going to get anything. It looked like it was going to be a big snowstorm, and we talked about that. But that's what I can do on this broadcast. And if you go check out my full forecast on the East Tennessee Weather app, on YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire, the website as well, listen, that's where I can break down everything that I think that's going to happen, along with these live weather updates, and give you my best guess. I mean, meteorology is an inexact science, right? Nobody knows what tomorrow brings. We all know that in life. And I tell that to the kids when I go talk to kids all the time in schools. I say, listen, it's easy to tell you. You could tell me exactly what you did yesterday, but do you know exactly what you're going to do tomorrow? And they're like, well, yeah, I'm going to go play with my friends. I go, but do you know exactly timing? Are your parents going to let you? How long are you going to be out with your friends? You don't know exactly how your day is going to progress. And weather forecasting is exactly the same thing. Laura says, yeah, the geography of East Tennessee, the valley is unique between the Cumberland Plateau and the Appalachian Mountains. That very, very unique. And we see that all the time, even with severe thunderstorms. But winter weather plays a huge role in elevation, in temperatures of the atmosphere. Peggy, what do you foresee for Jellicoe? You have the potential for getting some very heavy snowfall with the initial onset. I would say at this point of the game, probably a good solid 2 to 4 inches. But do you measure 2 to 4 inches by the end of the event? And the answer is going to be no, because we are going to get that warmer air and rain showers likely on Sunday. So if you do get snow, it's going to be heavy, it's going to be brief, and then it may compact and melt away based on freezing rain coming on in. But again, if that rain snow line shifts a little bit further south or kind of stays steady right across the Tennessee-Kentucky border, I mean, in Scott County, Campbell, and even Claiborne County, that's a little skinny county horizontally, but Scott County, Fentress, and of course Campbell County are a little bit longer counties, vertically anyways. You could have a major difference from northern Campbell County all the way down to southern Campbell County. It kind of just depends on where everything lines up and sets up. I would just prepare for snow, freezing rain, and then rain showers on Sunday, but then cold Arctic air as we get into next week. The GFS is garbage. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a long range, low resolution model. And you got to realize with these deterministic models, information goes in and you get one output. Ensemble forecasting is likely the better forecasting for really trying to figure things out. And the let me show you the National Weather Blend Service, National Weather Blend of models. I think this will probably give you a good depiction of, this is an ensemble forecast. See if I can find this real quick for you. I don't necessarily know that I will. Thought I had it right here, but let's see if I can pull this up on the screen for you. If you want to stick around. All right, so we'll just do a little bit of we'll have a little bit of fun here, just to give you an idea. All right, so this is the GFS model, okay, and this is painting a heavier snow picture north of Interstate 40. Now we'll come over to the National Weather Service blend of models. Again, I wasn't ready prepared for this. Let's see. I'll go to my 15 kilometer. So this is a 15 kilometer resolution snowfall forecast. And this actually takes into account what kind of, is it going to be a 10-to-1 ratio, a 12-to-1 ratio? It takes into account the moisture content and what kind of ratio. Clearly, this is showing that we're not going to see any snowfall here in East Tennessee. Now I'll go to my 3-kilometer model that does not go all the way out to Sunday. It stops Saturday night. That's painting a little bit of a picture for the snowfall across the northern plateau. That's probably a good bet. And as this new high-resolution model forecasts come in, we'll have a better idea because it has more data points to deal with or to work with versus the low-resolution models that less data points, less information, less confidence. High-resolution models, more data points, more confidence, and especially if we start seeing consistency through the day-to-day and tomorrow. And again, things are going to change. Like my forecast tonight could be a little bit different than what I'm talking about this morning. Tomorrow's forecast could be a little bit different than what I talk about tonight. And tomorrow night's forecast could be a little bit different than what we even talk about from here on out. So there are still going to be changes, and you need to check back in each and every day. So that's my 3-kilometer high-resolution model. Let me show you the National Weather Service blend of models. This will show you, and again, I just have to do this on the fly. This is a 10-to-1 ratio, and this is what it's painting. So if you were to actually pinpoint this and do some analysis on this, we'll go to Jamestown, right? Jamestown is going 3.9 inches. Campbell County, you're going 2.9. Claiborne County, you're also going about 2.8. Knox County, about 1.7 inches of snow. And then down towards Athens, we're going about 0.8. So not much snowfall there. Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, maybe 1 to 2. Again, this is the National Weather Service blend of models. This is an ensemble forecast. So it kind of paints a picture. But again, you may get snow. You may get this with the initial onset of precipitation because it's going to start off as snow. And then the freezing rain comes on in. And let's go over to some freezing rain products. Again, this will give you a good idea of what's going on. So this is the National Weather Service blend of models for freezing rain. We'll just go ahead and highlight some of these for you. So Crossville, 0.2 of an inch. Scott County, 1400s. Claiborne County, 1300s. Knox County, about 900s of an inch. So again, freezing rain is going to cause an issue. And it doesn't take much freezing rain to create that glaze of ice on the interstates or the roads and to create some major issues, right? 0.2 of an inch of rain or higher, now we're talking power outages, we're talking down trees, and we're talking like travel is not advised. Let's go Tri-Cities. Tri-Cities about 1400s of an inch. Again, that's the National Weather Service blend of models. So I'll just take you to a couple other models and show you what that looks like. We'll go back to the GFS, the lower resolution American model. And here's your freezing rain forecast for there. Again, we'll go ahead and analysis this one more time. Oops. Let's take this. Those are the, let's see, I think that's going to change. Yeah. Okay. So give me 1 second. We'll just do this on the fly here, my friends. All right. So let's do an analysis on the freezing rain with the American model. This is not the NBM. This is the American model, the GFS. So now it's going 0.8 of freezing rain for parts of the Cumberland Plateau. 0.8 of freezing rain is going to be a major issue, right? Now we're talking about, I mean, that's just crippling when we're talking freezing rain. Freezing rain is very heavy, and it only takes about 1/4 of an inch to really cause some issues. Scott County could see 0.6 of an inch. According to this model, of course. Tri-Cities, you could be seeing 0.75 of an inch. Knox County, up to 67, 0.6 of an inch of freezing rain. Let's go down to Chattanooga and Cleveland. Again, we're talking the Southern Valley, upwards of nearly an inch of freezing rain. I think we'll have a big issue with freezing rain across the Southern Valley. But again, that's the American model. Now, and I showed you the National Weather Service blend of models. Let's take a look at, we'll take a look at my lower resolution 15-kilometer in-house model. And we look at your freezing rain accumulations. And again, you can see where we're looking at some of the heavier freezing rain. Let's just take a look at the highest amounts there. There's 6,700s, 5,300s. Morgan County, the highest amounts, 7,300s. Fentress County, about 1,500s. Claiborne County, 2,600s. So again, the point of the story here is that I do really think that freezing rain is going to be an issue for some of us. And I think that we probably, or will likely, if this takes place, have some power outages associated just with freezing rain. So again, I wouldn't concentrate necessarily on snow. Now, this is my higher resolution 3-kilometer model that I think has a pretty good depiction on the snowfall forecast. Now let's take a look and see what this is saying for freezing rain. And we'll go to Cumberland County. It's going 5,900, so over half an inch down towards Saudi Daisy and Chattanooga, nearly an inch. Places across the foothills probably could be pushing close to an inch of freezing rain. So again, this is like the worst case scenario, but if this were to take shape, this is going to be crippling for us here in East Tennessee. And again, that's just, I know the data up there says 7 p.m. on Sunday. I don't think that's going to be the case because as you clearly will see here in a second, that I think that we will have the freezing rain increasing through Saturday and the rain on Sunday. So watch this. So here's your Saturday forecast for freezing rain. Let me take this off the map here. I'm doing this on the fly here, my friends. So by noon, we're going to have snow north of Interstate 40. We'll start to see the freezing rain set up shop. And so this is worst case scenario, of course. But by noon on Saturday, how much freezing rain starts to pile up? Because remember, we start off in the 20s. And then even if we hit 32 degrees on Saturday, that doesn't typically happen until about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And so again, snow and freezing rain will be the major players first thing Saturday. And then freezing rain will continue to pile up. There's a 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's 5, 6, 7 o'clock. But watch this. Watch how this map, I'll just throw a few more data points on there for you to give you an idea of how much this is not going to change. As we get into our Sunday, thanks to the fact of the rainfall. So now we'll take you to watch how these data points don't really change. So there's Saturday night, still changing. There's Sunday morning, still changing. And then we head through the day on Sunday. Once we heat up the atmosphere, we're not going to see any from the afternoon on Sunday. It's going to be just a rain event. Tammy, I appreciate you. Yeah, prepare for the worst. I mean, why not, right? Better to be safe than sorry, even for a lot of the naysayers on social media. Let's see, what did you say here? We'll be getting an inch or two of snow, help against the freezing rain, ice, or make it worse, in your opinion. Well, I think it's going to be one of those things where it's probably going to make it worse because if you get say you get 2 to 4 inches of snowfall, okay? And if you do, and then all of a sudden you get freezing rain on top of that, well, a couple things to pass along. First of all, if you get freezing rain, we'll come back to the chat here. If you get snowfall Saturday, and then it turns into freezing rain, you got to realize snowfall is going to now keep the ground temperatures colder. If you get snowfall, I mean, I know we're talking morning low temperatures on Saturday in the 20s. If you get snowfall on Saturday morning or any time on Saturday morning, it's going to cool the ground surface temperatures more, and it's going to keep it colder. So now then you get freezing rain on top of that. It turns into a slushy, into probably a slushy mess, and then refreezing because the ground is still cold. And you got to realize freezing rain, if you've never been to a freezing rain event, freezing rain is the craziest thing in the world. Because it is, I was literally talking to my kids last night and explaining it to them. I was like, do you know what freezing rain is? And they're like, well, it's like frozen precipitation falling out of the sky. I said, no, that's sleet. Freezing rain, it is just pure raining. But as it hits and makes contact with surfaces that are at or below freezing, you get flash freezing, and you get that freezing to occur on surfaces, and it starts to accrete. You get that accretion. It starts to grow and get deeper and deeper. And so that's how you get those, so it starts off with a nice little glaze, and then it starts to pile up because the ground is now cold. And so that's going to be a concern, I think, as we get into Saturday. Sunday should be trending a little bit better, but again, it's going to be a process as the atmosphere starts to gradually warm through the day on Sunday. Robbie says, what's crazy is the absolute failure of the model's initial track. 150-mile difference in where the system will go from Sunday till now, but yet we can tell you exactly where a hurricane will make landfall. Well, I don't know if they actually did do it. I was actually hearing that they were actually going to send hurricane hunters into this storm system to really get a better handle of it. Now, they typically don't do that. But I had heard that they did that. We're going to do that. I'm not quite 100% sure if they will do that. But Robbie, you got to understand too, I mean, we're only as good as the models. And if you look at the history of model forecasting, the spaghetti plots, and let's just say a hurricane is 4, 5, 6, 7 days out, you're still going to get a big divergence of those spaghetti plots towards the end of the 7-day forecast on hurricanes, right? You also have to realize that snowfall forecasting is totally different. Now, I know you're talking about the low pressure system, but just such is the case. And again, we're only as good as the model data. Model data has gotten so much better over the years. I mean, when I first got into TV, I mean, we were using Difax charts, and we were having to write down and actually do our own surface charts on pieces of paper, and we didn't have the model data. Model data is great, but here, if I can just throw one little caveat into this whole conversation, I wish we could go back into time before social media, because I believe, in my personal opinion, that social media clutters the information. It confuses everybody. Well, I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that. And the other issue is not only is model data is available to the public, people, we call them armchair meteorologists. They're not even meteorologists. They've figured out how to use these things, post them on social media, and say 30 inches of snow blasted across the country. They don't care because they're making a lot of money from Facebook and social media. And so in my personal opinion, I wish that, the National Weather Service has a private chat room group that I'm a part of, and you have to be qualified to be inside that chat. Otherwise, you can't get into the chat. I wish they would take these models off the public eyes, only allow the qualified people to use them, so the confusion would be lessened as storms approach and move their way on through. That's my personal opinion, but I think that would do us all a great service and allow the local people who have been in communities for a very long time to be the professionals. Like I said, I've been forecasting here for 20 years. That's why I just could not throw out snowfall totals 2, 3, 4 days ago. And I know you all were asking, and some folks were doing it. And they're like, well, I'm seeing 15, 20 inches of snow. I go, right, but it will change because I've seen this too many times. And nobody wants freezing rain. But anyways, let's see. Got a lot of people posting crazy stuff for clicks on social media. You are 100% correct. It's a sad state of affairs of where we are in society. A lot of people get their information from social media. I would say this: find somebody that you trust. I don't care if it's me or not. I would love it to be. And a lot of you are on here this morning. Find somebody you trust and just stick with their information. Get rid of the clutter on social media. Look at it, laugh at it. Don't touch it. Don't click it. Don't like it. Don't share it. And don't talk about it. And just talk about the person that you trust in your local community. Because really, ultimately, I mean, listen, I did national weather for 3 years. You cannot possibly get specific on the national platform. And that's exactly what these people are doing, is just painting a big, broad picture of crazy snowfall totals. I mean, go look at social media right now. You're going to see crazy maps of freezing rain and snow, and they're putting totals on that. It's one thing to throw a graphic out on social media and say, this potentially could be a massive storm, and leave it at that. Heads up, everybody. The models are forecasting a big, giant storm, and leave it at that. But the problem is that they're putting totals on these maps because it comes with the models, and you just got to watch it. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, man. I can't say anything else. Brandon, you're all over my social media accounts, my friend. Do I think they'll put out a flood watch on Sunday? I think the potential is probably there. I mean, I think anytime we were ever to see 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, which we had a flood watch not too long ago, and we were predicting 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, right? So, which never even came out to 2 to 3 inches. I think we ended up with like an inch and a quarter, or something like that. So again, it's model forecasting. It's forecasting. We're trying to find the best solution for you to pass along the best information that we possibly can. But you're probably not wrong, Brandon. I wouldn't be surprised at this point of the game if the National Weather Service does issue maybe some sort of flood advisory, flood watch for Sunday based on the amount of moisture that's coming on through. That's how dynamic this storm system is, from rain to freezing rain to sleet and snow and heavy rain. Eli Cox, I'm seeing that the euro is slowly going now south. Either way, time will tell because nothing is never fully right until it happens, right? But again, I don't know if you're looking at those models. A lot of folks look at the models and it's fun. I get it. It's fun to be an armchair meteorologist, but just be careful what you do with that information. That's all I can stress. Find somebody local, find somebody you trust, and let's move on together because we all live here. I live here as much as you do, right? And so I'm part of this community. I want to be as accurate as I possibly can. But of course, sure, I want the snow. That would be great. So Brandon says, Ken Weathers last night on Channel 6 mentioned that the wind and sublimation would help with melting. You're probably right. And depending on how much there is the potential for some wind on Sunday because of the low pressure and the pressure gradient. So if we get that wind's an evaporating process. And so not only does it help to cool the column of the atmosphere down to switch a dry atmosphere over to a quick, heavy snowfall if it's forecasting a lot of rain, depending on temperature, of course. But also, it's an evaporating process that helps to limit or mitigate icing into the next morning. And so if the wind does crank up after the rain stops Sunday night, Monday morning potentially could not be an issue if we get the evaporating process to take place. What do you mean the models are going down? I don't know quite what you mean there. Let's just sit back and enjoy the weather with whatever it is. Joe, I like that thinking. So I don't have to go buy groceries? You mean B-U-Y? B-U-Y? Kidding, Christy. Just kidding, my friend. Yeah. Listen, I can't tell you what to do and when to do it. I can give you the information. You all can make the call for you, your family. If you want to play it safe, go get some groceries for the weekend. If you got enough groceries for Saturday into Sunday morning, probably going to be doing just fine. Do you need all the bread, milk, and eggs? No, you don't. Again, yes, it's going to stay cold next week, but I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you how to dress. I'm not going to tell you to go. I mean, listen. I would just prepare. On a 1 to 10 scale, how difficult is this storm to forecast in your time being a meteorologist? Great question, David. I said at the very beginning of this broadcast, I said this is probably hands down one of the hardest, trickiest forecasts I have ever forecasted. And I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been with it through a lot of storms with Todd Howell. I remember the first time I ever saw freezing rain. Todd and I just stood outside and watched it rain, sleet, snow, freezing rain, back to rain, snow. It was the craziest thing because we had that transition zone right on top of us at the TV station. That was a very difficult one as well. I'm trying to think what year that was. Probably early 2000s. So I came in 2005, probably closer to about, I couldn't probably tell you which one it was, but is this comparable to the 2015 ice storm? So the National Weather Service says worst case scenario on the freezing rain, yes, it is going to be comparable to the 2015 ice storm. I guess that's probably the one. No, because I wasn't here in 2015. I was actually back in Colorado working for Weather Nation during that ice storm. So everybody is in the path of this storm. I cannot be specific on how it all plays out in your neighborhood. I can tell you north of Interstate 40, south of Interstate 40. I think north of Interstate 40, we probably have the best potential for the onset of snow with the initial onset of precipitation. Probably the better chance for snowfall during the event throughout the day on Saturday, with warmer air creeping in from the south throughout the day on Saturday, helping to transition the snow. Because I think we'll all start with snow, and then we get that freezing rain and sleet to start to work its way on in. Good morning from Mrs. Chambers, 5th grade in Winfield. Hey, kids, what's going on, everybody? I've been to that school before. We are watching the forecast to see if we get snow this weekend in Scott County. Kids in Scott County, I do think that through the day on Saturday, you will get some snow and potentially some decent snow, upwards of 2 to 4, maybe even higher amounts in some locations. So there is the potential. So everybody give Miss Chambers' math classroom a big shout out this morning. The whole classroom is watching. I love that. I love that you're coming to East Tennessee Weather to watch it. And kids, if you ever need anything, let me know. And if you want me back at your school, just hit me up. Let's see. How much snow in my backyard? Good one, Brandon. Well, actually, Brandon, you are going to get. But now we know your street, and now I know where you live. Just kidding. Let's see. If you can find anything, Walmart in Walbrook and Oak Ridge was wiped out. Fools panic bot. I mean, if you're from here, if you've lived here for a long time, the blizzard of 93 is always on people's minds. That kind of, I think, set the stage for a little bit more panic. But yeah, you got to realize, dude, I'm from Denver, Colorado. we get snow and we get a lot of snow, but Denver is very flat. The roads are wide and we have sidewalks. Here in East Tennessee, the roads are narrower. We don't have sidewalks. And if you go off the edge, you're in somebody's backyard, like 15 feet down a hill into a backyard. It's hilly. The terrain is crazy. And it can be tricky. I will say this, and I've said this a million times, the fact that this storm system's happening over the weekend, the impact level goes down because you don't have to leave your house if you don't need to. Unless you need to, of course. My wife works Sunday. But you predict a lot of power outages. I do think that there could potentially be some power outages, not like super widespread at this point of the game. Worst case scenario with the freezing rain that potentially could happen, depending on the profile of the atmosphere and our surface temperatures. Yeah, we would have major power outages. Least case scenario, we probably don't get any, but I do think that we potentially will have some, probably more likely across the Cumberland Plateau or wherever this all sets up to produce a heavier freezing rain event. I remember 2015 snow. We haven't had one that large since, and this one was looking like it potentially could be, right? So ice sledding at your house. Yeah, Zach, what's up, man? Potentially. Let's see. I'm getting the feeling that people might not be taking this serious since we're not looking at a lot of snow. This freezing rain is scary, in my opinion. Freezing rain is worse than snow. I would so much rather have a foot of snow than a quarter of an inch of ice, or a tenth of an inch of ice, really, to be honest with you. Ice you just can't do anything with. Not that people are panic buying, they are buying to sustain their families. It's more people are out all at once. That's why things are wiped out, but everyone has had a week to prepare. Waiting to the last minute is your own fault. I said this, 3 days ago? I said, let's everybody slowly work our way to the grocery stores so we don't inundate the grocery stores. And you got to realize, too, that 3 or 4 days ago, because of social media, and because I didn't throw out snowfall totals, I said potentially this could happen. That's the thing, is you just got to stick with a trusted source. Trey says, the people promoting hysteria on social media and YouTube are doing great harm. As a restaurant owner in Chattanooga, we always end up with no business and little or no winter weather. I would agree with you. They are doing great harm to our society. And that's why I said I think they should take these models away from the public and only allow the professionals, the ones with degrees, to be able to have access to them like they do with the National Weather Service chat. And maybe over time they will. But there are also other companies that take this model data and they sell it. So I don't know. I don't think there's, I think that's why I can't stress enough. Just find somebody local that you trust, that you like, and just stick with that person. Sure, you can go out and kind of sneak peek at other information because everybody looks at a lot of information. I'm sure many of you have looked at Channel 6, Channel 10, Channel 8, myself, trying to get an idea of what to expect. And that's okay. That's the nature of this business. But find somebody you like, find somebody you trust, and just stick with that person. That is my only thing that I would really tell you that is going to make or break the panic, make or break, oh my gosh, Brandon, don't even get me started on Snowbird Bob. Literally the worst. And I've shown his post on this platform before because he just throws out, this guy finds on social media. If you follow the Snowbird Bob, unfollow him immediately, please, for everybody. He finds the worst of the worst in any single model output and throws it out on social media. It says, giant ice storm, major blizzard. And you would not believe, Brandon, well, you've probably seen, but you would not believe that guy is probably making well over 6 figures on social media. I'm not kidding. Well over 6 figures on Facebook because of these posts. People see pretty colors, they like, they share. So again, I won't say it again, but find somebody you trust. It doesn't have to be me. I don't care. But thank you for tuning in this morning. Just find somebody you like and you trust, stick with them, and just go with that forecast. And let's ignore the rest of the something, right? All right, if you've been part of the platform, I know we've been talking a long time here this morning. We've had a lot of folks joining us. So maybe some folks don't want to leave. Oh, is this a pipe busting event? Yeah, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, single digits and teens, pipe busting event for sure. So if for some crazy reason you go hook up your hoses today, tomorrow, make sure you unhook those. You don't want any frozen pipes as we get into the weekend. All right, we do national holidays on this platform. You can stick around if you want. The show must go on. I will continue with what I typically do, but I wanted to try to really field a bunch of questions and talk about it. Mount Carmel here, getting ready to snow, following you and Mark Reynolds. Mark and I are great friends. I like Mark Reynolds. He's a great meteorologist as well up into the Tri-Cities area, so thank you. Mark will definitely keep everything real as well. Let's see. All right. Anyways, it's time for your national holidays. Today's January 22nd. The month's cruising right along, and we're celebrating birthdays and events. Any birthdays out there? I know somebody had a birthday this upcoming weekend. I think it was Felicia, or maybe that was last weekend. I can't remember. Anyways, it's National Polka Dot Day. Hey, by the way, we're moving on with the forecast. If we've already kind of gone through everything. We've been on the broadcast for about 45 minutes now talking about everything. I have all the information on the East Tennessee Weather app, by the way. So if you have the app, just go over to your full forecast. It's about a 7-minute forecast, really helping you to kind of understand what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking of what I'm thinking. And again, these are just my thoughts and my forecast. So take it for whatever you want to. But let's see. We're in this together. And we'll check it out. So YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire, the website, easttnweather.com, and of course the East Tennessee Weather app. I have a very long, extensive forecast to help break it down for you and your family. It's National Polka Dot Day today. It's also National Sanctity Day of Human Life. It's Celebration of Life Day, and it's National Blonde Brownie Day. These are my kind of brownies. I don't really like brownies, but I do like blonde brownies. All right, let's go through some weather history. In 2005, a major winter storm referred to as the Blizzard of 2005 affected the northeastern U.S. More than a foot of snow covered much of southern New England. In 2000, a severe ice storm hit northern Georgia and portions of northwest South Carolina. On January 22nd and 23rd, over 500,000 utility customers were without power during and after the storm. In 1990, it was a very tame and peaceful midwinter day. Mild weather prevailed across the country. Highs of 83 degrees in Hollywood, California, or Florida, and 85 degrees in Miami. In 1989, low pressure brought heavy rain and gale force winds to Florida, gusts up to 63 miles per hour. In 1988, the nation was free of winter storms for a whole day. However, winds in Southern California gusted up to 80 miles per hour. In 1987, a winter storm spread snow from the central Mississippi through northern Georgia and into New England. Up to 15 inches of snow fell across parts of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. And in 1943, Chinook winds during an early morning hours caused the temperatures in Spearfish, South Dakota to rise from 4 degrees below zero to 45 degrees above zero in just 2 minutes. That's a sharp cold front. And on this date in history, let's see, the daily quote for the day today. I should pre-read these, but I don't. Choose the way of life. Choose the way of love. Choose the way of caring. Choose the way of goodness. It's up to you. It is your choice. That could not be more perfect for what I just got done saying. With what I just said. Because be kind to each other. I always say that at the end of my broadcast. Be kind to each other. Life is short. It is your choice. And it's your choice to come to find a person that you trust for when it comes to winter weather. All right, 1997, the U.S. Senate confirmed Madeleine Albright as the first female Secretary of State. In 1987, Phil Donahue, remember that guy? Became the first talk show host to tape a show from inside the Soviet Union. I did not know that. The shows were shown later in the year. In 1973, the Supreme Court struck down state laws that had been restricting abortions during the first 6 months of pregnancy. The case was Roe versus Wade. In 1970, the first regularly scheduled commercial flight of the Boeing 747 began in New York City and ended in London about 6.5 hours later. In 1961, Wilma Rudolph set a world indoor record in the women's 60-yard dash. She ran the race in 6.9 seconds. That's insane. That's fast. In 1938, Our Town by Thornton Wilder was performed publicly for the first time in Princeton, New Jersey. In 1901, Queen Victoria of England died after reigning in nearly 64 years. And in 1879, James Shields began a term in the U.S. Senate as a U.S. Senator from Missouri. He had previously served Illinois and Minnesota. He was the first senator to serve 3 states. And there you go, my friends. All right, we'll take it back outside. Live look there from Anderson County. That's downtown Clinton, where we could see snow, freezing rain, and sleet in just 2 days. Well, probably 2.5 days. It's going to be from sunrise to sunset. Well, I sure hope you got all the information that you needed here today. We're just going to let you go for the day. We've been on here for nearly an hour. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I really do appreciate that. As we progress through the storm, make sure you check back in. I would love to be your resource for local information right here in East Tennessee. East Tennessee weather is everywhere. It's all digital. Roku TV, Amazon Fire, YouTube. You can put it up on the big screen in your house, your businesses. If you put it up in your business, let me know. I will come out and highlight your business for supporting another small business. The East Tennessee Weather app is great. It travels wherever you go. The interactive radar gives you past, current, and future radar of 2 hours. You get watches and warnings from the National Weather Service. Typically faster than all the other apps I have that send that information. So something cool there. You have the 24-hour channel right there front and center on the East Tennessee Weather app as well. And you get the daily forecast weather updates, whether that's my 1 Minute with Witcher that just gives you the general synopsis in 1 minute, or it's the full forecast where, like storms like this, we can really dive in to all the details to give you the best information to help you plan for yourself and, of course, for your family. Because that, my friends, is what it's all about. We are community together, but you got to take care of yourself and you have to take care of your family. The daily quote again: choose the way of life, choose the way of love, choose the way of caring, choose the way of goodness. It's all up to you. It is your choice. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Be safe, be kind to each other. As I always say, life is short. See you, my friend.
There's a barbed wire man with a concrete soul and a dream just to fly free. There's a spray can sitting, it could light up the show if you gave it to me. This army of sinners forgot to fight for the cause, while the visionaries run a race that's already lost. And it's you, oh it's you. It's you, oh it's you. There's a schoolboy standing up in front of an army, shoes in the mud and the wet paint twists and turns up the alley just like it should. So your colors, they start and it's stripping you